He'll set the groove. Oh, manly Mark, the man with the spark. He's got the wisdom, he's got the heart. Pull up a chair, stay for a while. Manly Mark will make you smile. He's got tales that twist and turn. A world of wonders you'll soon learn.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Midday Madness with me, Manly Mark. As always, hope you guys tuned in this morning to the Feast Me Show with Manly Mark, because we talked about some good stuff this morning. It's funny because there's usually sometimes it's a balance of good conversation. Sometimes it's information dense in terms of mostly spending the whole time talking about content, news. Sometimes we're just chit-chatting. So you never know what you're going to run into with the Feast Me Show with Manly Mark. But that's not this show. This is Midday Madness with Manly Mark. And I guess before long it might be Night with Manly Mark. Nah, I'm just teasing. But guys, thanks for tuning in. And always, I'm going to spend the next few minutes plugging our shows, as always. So guys, tune in, 9 o'clock, Monday through Friday, a.m., Feast Me Show with Manly Mark. Catch me here, noon, live, Monday through Friday. And it's taking off, blowing up, and going to the moon, but Night with Fee. People are loving it. Some people call it risque, some people call it taboo. But, well, the stuff he's talking about, people are tuning in, people are listening. And so, guys, tune in to Night with Fee. And again, we have the website up, feastme.com, or you can just email yourself, but at fee@feastme.com. But guys, get on the website and send Fee your questions, your comments. Do you love us? Do you hate us? Do you want to know what Fee thinks about your wife's problems? Ask him. He'll answer. But, so, always got to do the plug-in. Always got to plug. Terry's got a cold pot of coffee on, so hear me gagging. It's because the coffee's cold. Still waiting on T-Man Jazzy J. But, we got a few things to get in today. Yesterday, I kept it kind of mysterious with the remote viewing thing, which, again, the whole remote view thing is a very, very big thing. And it's all real. Just look into it. And the point is not necessarily to say that they actually did and actually know where the Ark of the Covenant is. The point is to say, hey, these things, these methodologies are real and are being used by our government for purposes related to national security. So it's like they've employed psychics. That's where your tax dollars are funding psychics. So it's either abortion or psychics. You get your pick. Personally, I'd pick psychics, but let me just go ahead and just kind of if you hadn't noticed, running a little late. Oh, just knocked my mic over. Not having a good morning. Just feeling a little off, a little shaky. Coffee cup shaking. Knocked on my mic. Running late. Don't even know what the first thing I want to talk about is, which I do. I'm trying to find a good transition. But, we talked about on the Feast Me Show today about the National Guard and their movements now in Washington, D.C. Trump essentially, taking over D.C., which some people say is overstep of his power. That's yet to be determined. I'm sure you'll have a bunch of folks try to sue him. But we'll see in the coming. But Trump's just in the news all over the place. But the one thing I wanted to start off with was we discussed on the Feast Me Show this morning, Trump and Putin having a meeting in Alaska this Friday. And so a lot of people think that it's going to tie into the war in Ukraine. But, as always, I'm always asking the questions. Maybe there's something more going on with that meeting. And I'm going to show you a video right now. It gets right into it. But essentially, I talk about on this show I did a few weeks ago, but the climate change and the shifting of the poles and global warming. Of course, I think all of that's used to beat you over the head for propaganda or indoctrination. But regardless, something is changing in the world, and the people in the know that it's going to happen. And they're making decisions now in preparation for that. They made fun of Trump because he said he wanted to buy Greenland. Ha ha, idiot. Ha. I kind of wish we would, because I'd go explore. But the point is, when the Arctic starts to thaw out, so much trade and so much commerce and so many resources are available there that, of course, we want to own Greenland. Make us wealthy beyond, make us a very wealthy country. But I'll let this guy get into it in particular. But, right off the bat, you think, oh, they're talking about Ukraine war, talking about this and that. But there's always more going on than what we think.
There's a secret behind Trump and Putin's Alaska meeting that has almost nothing to do with Ukraine and everything to do with a deal that could possibly change the world. Most people already know that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are about to have a private meeting in Alaska on Friday, August 15th, 2025. There's no Europe, there's no Ukraine, just the US and Russia. And that's got Europe, and especially the UK, absolutely freaking out. Why do you think that is? Well, because for more than 100 years, the British Empire and now the EU have feared one thing: that America and Russia might work together instead of fighting. Because when those two get along, they don't need Europe in the middle, do they? Now, according to Promethean Action, this meeting could be about way more than stopping the war in Ukraine. It could be the start of what they call a development deal of the century. Here's what that means. The Arctic is opening up. New shipping routes, energy fields, rare minerals. Whoever builds there first wins big. The US and Russia control most of that region anyway. If they agreed to develop it together, ports, pipelines, trade routes, then they set the rules. And Europe, well, they get left outside. That's lost revenue, lost tax money, lost control. And that's why Europe isn't invited. So they say, the fewer the people in the room, the faster the deal. Trump and Putin don't want Brussels slowing it down with endless ego-driven debates by the actor leaders who have no real-life experience. Think about it. How can Putin or Trump, who both have decades of experience in life, business, and politics, even begin to take people like von der Leyen, Macron, or Callas even serious? They have done nothing of substance besides act for the cameras and follow their puppet master's rules. And it's time to end their game. Trump and Putin want to see if they can freeze the Ukraine fighting and start building. Why is Europe so nervous? 3 big reasons. 1, power. If the US and Russia set Arctic rules, Europe loses its gatekeeper role in global trade. 2, energy. New pipelines and shipping could bypass Europe's control over gas and oil. And number 3, politics. A thaw between the US and Russia would wreck the EU forever. Sanctions. Strategy and weaken the grip on the West. And the UK, well, this hits their old imperial nerves, doesn't it? Historically, London's strategy was to keep America and Russia apart so that Britain could always be the middleman in global trade and politics. An Alaska deal flips that script, and they know it. So what does it mean for America, though? It means more economic freedom. We can open new trade routes, access new resources, and cut out the middleman. It means more power. We become a builder again, not just a buyer. It means more autonomy. We can make deals that put our workers, our businesses, and our security first without the strings of the EU, NATO, bureaucracy, or the old global order. Here's the bottom line. If this meeting works and America can get along with Russia where it makes sense, then we might finally be our own boss again. That's why Alaska matters. And that's why the old guard is so damn scared. This is getting good, isn't it? Join me on Patreon for more.
That's an angle that I, just from the conversation I had with Fee this morning, I wouldn't have thought about that. But again, it ties into the things you hear about global warming and climate change and how the whole agenda is inherently anti-human, as I say. But you have one side who's trying to, enslave humanity with carbon taxes, or essentially enslave humanity with the whole carbon idea. But then you have the other side who knows things are changing, just because that's the nature of Earth. It's the nature of cylindrical cycles. But they don't want to crash course humanity over that, and so that's why you saw Trump talking about buying Greenland, or why they're meeting in Alaska, apparently to maybe discuss these types of options and deals. They might talk about the war in Ukraine, but the war in Ukraine, okay, I'm no war correspondent, but it's over. It was over from when it started, man. The continuation is just to kill people, or just to bleed America or Russia dry for a coming greater conflict. But Ukraine's going to have to concede land. Russia might have to concede land. Oh no, we have to sign the deal. Okay, now everything's back to normal, except for the loss of millions and millions of lives and money. I don't know. As much as I seem like a crazy guy, I'm not. I am inherently anti-war. I'm just anti-war. Because no matter if you think it's justified, the guy who's telling you it's justified is doing it because he wants to line his pockets, or because he wants to be the guy who's worshipped as God. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be hard pressed to convince me to fight a war unless it was here at my doorstep. And again, it's not a comment about people who join the military. I respect those people, and we need a good, strong military. But just as far as motivations behind why some people join wars and others do or don't, I don't want any part of it. War is evil. I mean, some war is, I don't want to say righteous, but necessary. And I say all that to say, again, very interesting that they're having this meeting in Alaska, which is kind of over by the Arctic, close to, in the Arctic region. And that, again, that's the only thing I've seen in the news about the topic of this conversation being trade to essentially gather more power, I guess, for Russia and America, which is a good thing. I mean, maybe not the Russia part, but this might tie into what, like Phil talks about, wondering how, or what the tie-in that will be getting America to join Europe, or Russia to join Europe, which I guess would be opposed against us then. But nonetheless, very interesting. And, we're going to keep an eye on it here. So as that keeps coming up, or as things keep developing with that, and heck, I'm sure on Friday or the next show after the meeting, we'll be letting you guys know what happened and the implications. So keep an eye on that, and like I said, keep an eye on the whole climate change agenda. Oh, folks, I'm just out of breath, feeling pitiful today. Whew. I don't know what Terry put in his chili last night, but it's really getting me, man. Don't let him hear that though, because I don't know. We all know Terry's going through a rough time. Terry's going through a rough time, but it's just why you got to tip good and say a little prayer for him, and you just pick a little mustache hair out every once in a while, but don't let him see you do it. But moving on, we're going to get back into the DC talk, because I'm going to take this a few different angles, a few different ways, some predictable, some not so predictable. Before we get into particularly DC stuff, I do need to touch on what's going on. We talk about this all the time, but the whole investigation, how they're uncovering the Russiagate conspiracy and hoax, and who's all implicated, and essentially, I'm going to show you a video of Tulsi going more in depth about recent uncoverings, and how there are still people in the intelligence communities that are not playing ball, but Tulsi's there to root them out. And so, this doesn't really necessarily tie into the whole DC thing, but I just realized I got to touch on it because this is in the news, and it might have something to do with the National Guard in DC, but we'll get in that in a little bit. But just wanted to drop this video in on y'all so you guys could stay up to tune, and we'll discuss what you hear in just a moment. So take a listen to this.
You mentioned, Director, that there's, I guess, deep state actors who are still trying to prevent the truth from coming out. What do you mean by that?
There are still people, won't surprise you, within the intelligence community who don't want this information to see the light of day. Some of them may be implicated in the crafting of it. Others are concerned about people being embarrassed. Others are concerned about accountability and what else we will discover as we continue down this path towards the truth and bring about accountability for the American people. That's really what this is all about, and why it does such a disservice. I was standing there in the White House press briefing room and hearing some of these crazy questions being asked by members of the media who are trying to distract and deflect away from the historic expose that we have brought forward, that once again puts into question the American people's ability to trust the integrity of our democratic republic. And the reason why that is, and it's similar to the deep state actors who have been trying to stop us from releasing this, is that we have members of the media who were complicit in this from the very beginning, who were leaked early copies of this, or at least lines from this January 2017 Obama manufactured intelligence assessment, they printed what they were fed. People like Ellen Nakashima from the Washington Post, who, by the way, went on to win a Pulitzer Prize because for years she was so good at lying and not telling the truth to the American people that they gave her an award for it. These people are still here. Ellen Nakashima is still harassing people who work within the intelligence community who are calling up and reporting her, using burner phones to try to ask them harassing questions. There are a lot of deep state actors still here within Washington. President Trump wants us to find the truth. I want to find the truth. The American people deserve the truth, and they deserve accountability, which is why I'm really glad to see that Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice announced the creation of a strike force team today, specifically to get after all the intelligence and evidence that we have gathered. We have more coming, and to determine the path forward to bring about that accountability.
Wow, I mean, just I don't know if she's reading a teleprompter, but she was very well spoken in that, very, using very precise language. And the first thing I clued in on was how she talked about the media, particularly asking questions to distract or disengage from what's actually happening. Which, can you believe that there are? I mean, I can believe it. You probably believe it if you're tuning in and listening to me. I know Fee believes it, but how sad is it that you have a press conference where they're trying to answer questions about real things, and you have members of the media who are supposed to report on the things, specifically asking questions to distract and defer? But that ties right back into what Tulsi came out and said a while back, and the Operation Mockingbird, where our CIA, our intelligence agencies, quite literally paid and employ members of the media for these exact reasons. And it's funny that this isn't a comment on Jesse Waters or Fox News, but I just thought it was funny how, she's saying, yeah, the media is complicit. The media are the ones who are actually doing this, Operation Mockingbird. And it's like, I wonder if in the back of Waters' mind, he's thinking, it's a nice paycheck, buddy. It's a nice paycheck. Because even the ones you like are getting paid by someone that you don't like. That's the point. I mean, I do like Fox and I do like Waters. And Sean Hannity, he's a good-looking guy. He's cool, but I got burned out on the Sean Hannity when it was just lock her up, lock her up, lock her up, lock her up, lock her up. Yeah, and then he did his 180 on Trump, and I just don't trust the guy. But he's a good-looking guy, and he's good at reading the news. I'll tell you that. But I think this is important, and it might tie into the D.C. stuff. Because I'll show you this tweet from Bill Mitchell. But the point is, I said, I've been saying this for weeks. As soon as we started talking about the Obama, Tulsi, Russiagate conspiracy, it also implicates Hillary Clinton. But as I said, when they actually start doing indictments, or if they actually try to arrest people like, I don't know, they try to arrest Obama or Hillary or, I don't know, Comey or Clapper, any of those folks, they're going to riot, cause civil unrest. I said that this is going to lead to civil unrest because how many people's out there, how many folks out there whose hero is Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama don't actually know anything about the politics or the underworkings or just anything other just, oh, hey, cool guy, he was on late night TV and said a joke, oh, I love him, looking for an excuse to loot and riot. But I'll show you this tweet because, again, makes you wonder if part of what's happening in D.C. is tied into this indictments coming, supposedly, for important people. So let's see, right here, the tweet. Did it occur to anyone that perhaps Trump is federalizing D.C. because indictments of Democrat leaders are about to come down and he knows the violent left will want to turn D.C. streets into a war zone? Woo, 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 woo. I mean that would make perfect sense. But you heard it first on the Feast Me Network 3 weeks ago when I was talking about it, and it really wasn't that hard of a conclusion to come to. So but that's if Trump is federalizing D.C. in part because of that, he is smart, very smart. But what's a joke is, I saw this video today of the police chief, D.C. police chief. And I want you guys. This just, again, whether this was a DEI hire, diversity and inclusion higher. I don't know, but when you use terms, well, I'm not part of law enforcement, but there's a term called chain of command. Hey, what's the chain of command for here? Oh, this, and that. Well, you've got the police chief, as you'll see right here, fielding a question and having no idea what that even means. You'll see. Let the lady talk and put her own spin on it. So you guys check this out. It just goes to show the idiots that they have in charge, and the just idiots. As Phil says often, idiot, idiot, idiot. So just watch this.
That's what the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor, speaking to you, or how does this work?
So the executive order is clear. The president has requested MPD services, and our home rule charter outlines the process. The president designated Attorney General Bondi as his proxy to request services through me.
Oh, it's a shorter video than I thought, but what's that? What is that? I don't know what that means. What is that? You gotta be kidding me. The police chief. She's been in law enforcement for, I don't know who long enough to be a police chief, but doesn't understand basic terms like chain of command. But then that's who we expect to have been keeping DC safe this whole time? Well, no wonder it's such a mess. But then you see that the people who gripe because Trump's doing something about DC would look at that and say, yeah, and? Well, or maybe there's just a problem with police chiefs. Fort Smith police chief apparently doesn't know anything. The DC police chief doesn't know anything either. Apparently they must just get together. Or they just find these, people that I like to abuse power. Now, I shouldn't even say that, because I know for a fact there are police chiefs out there who are patriots, who are competent, not abusive of power, and so, I don't want to say that. It's funny, we were talking about police chiefs, and then this morning on the Feast Me show with Manly Mark, and here we go, the DC police chief very clearly proving why Trump federalizing, doing what he's doing, going into DC is not that bad. But now comes the part of the show, of course, naturally, where I kind of turn it a little sideways. We get into little discussions about what might else be happening under the scenes. Well, let me read you this from the Smithsonian. What? Trump's getting into the Smithsonian? What? Interesting. Let's read it. Letter to the Smithsonian, Internal Review of Smithsonian Exhibits and Materials, the White House, August 12, 2025. As we prepare to celebrate the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding, it is more important than ever that our national museums reflect the unity, progress, and enduring values that define the American story. In this spirit, in accordance with Executive Order 14253, Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History, interesting, we will be leading a comprehensive internal review of selected Smithsonian museums and exhibitions. This initiative aims to ensure alignment with the President's directive to celebrate American exceptionalism, remove divisive or partisan narratives, and restore confidence in our shared cultural institutions. This review is a constructive and collaborative effort, one rooted in respect for the Smithsonian's vital mission and its extraordinary contributions. Our goal is not to interfere with the day-to-day operations of curators or staff, but rather to support a broader vision, excellence that highlights historically accurate, uplifting, and inclusive portrayals of American heritage. Boy, I'm getting good at reading, I'll tell you. I like listening to myself read. Before long, you'll be able to get your audiobooks and listen to it in the voice of Manly Mark. Don't worry, I'll do all my inflections, I do it all, so coming soon. But, covers up. So the Smithsonian, there's a lot of questions to be had about their view and interpretation of history and how they want to present it to us. In that, I believe the Bible. I believe giants walked the earth. I've seen pictures. I've seen the pictures. I know some are fake, some are AI, but I've seen also articles and discussions specifically about the Smithsonian covering things up because their the official narrative of human history and archaeology has to be maintained because, if you discover one thing that uproots the whole, I mean, if giants actually walked the earth, well, what's that mean for evolution? What's that mean for modern archaeology? What's that mean for religion? You know, I mean, so it makes sense as to why things that they wouldn't see as cohesive to their story, you know, the goggles they put upon you when you're born to view reality, not cohesive. So that's interesting. But to the greater point, people are saying, you know, I mean, I don't know, heck, even Congress, I don't think it's conspiracy or secret. They use tunnels underground to get here and there so that they're not, I don't know, they're safer to travel in between buildings, locations. So I don't think it's it's not a conspiracy to say that, hey, Congress uses underground tunnels to get from here or there to important places in our capital. That's not a conspiracy. That's not weird. But there also is talks, and I need to look more into this, but I wouldn't be surprised. But in essence, they're talking about tunnels under the Smithsonian, and in essence, that Trump might be trying to gain access to these tunnels that our Congress people use, our policemen, to transport National Guard back and forth. And so, that's interesting. So just so many veins and threads to pull at. And we're here pulling on all of them, but just very, very interesting. But, I'm sitting there talking about underground tunnels under the Smithsonian, and you're thinking, oh, that sounds ridiculous. But the entirety of our nation's capital is designed around symbolic occult practices and worship. Like, the Washington Monument, what do you think that represents? Now they're going to tell you, independence, human ingenuity. Well, they had similar structures all over the ancient world. Obelisks. I mean, I might be butchering that word, but it's a phallic symbol. It's a symbol of a phallus. It's a sexual symbol, but they just call it not. They just say, oh, it's the Washington Monument. Well, how come they had a Washington Monument in ancient Egypt? Huh? So, okay, I'll just let this video speak for itself. But the point I'm saying is, the symbolism of the occult, Luciferian doctrine, is so ingrained in the founding of our country. Oh, you mean the country founded upon God? What? But just look. You can pull out a map of DC yourself and just watch it. But I'm going to show you the video and we'll talk about it.
Over the city, looking down on Washington, D.C., you'll see there are two main boulevards culminating in a pyramid. And just at the very top of the pyramid is a street cutting it off. And then within the triangle at the top, where the eye on the dollar bill is the Capitol. And the Capitol building sits there. It's a pyramid. Then it has the Cleopatra's Needle, which is a Washington monument. And the river, the long riverway, the long waterway is called the River Styx, which is where Pharaoh went into heaven on the River Styx. It is all laid out in Masonic symbolism, and the five-pointed star, which is a pentagram, has always been used. Satan worship, satanic worship, the five-pointed pentagram. And if you take the arms off of a pentagram, you have a pentagon. And the United States Pentagon is sitting exactly due north, aiming due north at the North Star Thuban, which is drawing power, according to the ancient Egyptians, for the god of war.
Just take a road map of Washington, D.C. Just take a look at it from the air, and you'll see what appears to be the goat of Mendez. And the goat of Mendez,
which is a symbol in Freemasonry. Right. It's a symbol. It's a demonic symbol within the Freemasonry.
You see the goat and the horns and the whole thing. The whole city is laid out like that. It's all over.
So what we're basically saying here is that there is nothing happening by chance.
Boy, oh boy, what do you think about that? I know that's going to really bother Fee. Because, again, we are taught and indoctrinated that, I'm not saying God didn't have a hand in it. God has a hand in everything. But, America was founded upon Christian values. America was founded by Christian men. America was founded by Freemasons who laid out their nation's capital in very overt symbology that anyone with eyes that can see can literally say, it's kind of a little Satan-y over there, isn't it? A little Satan worship going on in the capital? Well, no. Well, how come you got a pentagram? How come the dang map is a pentagram? Huh? What's going on? What's going on? And so the point is, just there are things you just don't even think about. It's Washington, D.C. You go, look at the monument, look at this, the way everything's laid out, and it's all for a specific purpose and reason. And most people are just, I'm too busy paying the taxes. And what are the implications of that? Well, I mean, I don't know how it actually affects my taxes, but it should make you question and wonder the motivations behind the people we put in power and the things we allow them to do and get away with. So, I mean, it just, well, you know, someone might say, well, what's your point? The world is run by baby-eating devil worshippers. Ha! I mean, that's the point. Freemason, Luciferianism, the Church of Satan. There's all these different clubs and organizations with names and titles and this and that, but you get to the top of them, and they're all Luciferianism. It's all a cult. It's all symbolism. It's all secret initiations. Okay, I mean we talked about it. It might have been on Monday on the Feast Me show about mass group trauma, or these events that happen that stay in the collective conscious of a society, but these things, these symbols that we just ignore, are desensitized to. We give them their power. We give them our attention, our info. I don't know. It's just I need to do a whole episode, or maybe a 10-part episode about that kind of thing. But the point being is, there's so much, even in our own nation, that we don't even know is going on. We don't even know I mean, like, come on, like, don't even get me started on like the weird synchronicities in even like Memphis, Tennessee. I don't know. I mean, I won't even talk about it. The pyramid in Memphis, the Bass Pro Pyramid. Just a lot of weird things. And you can even tie that into Mormonism, of how they believe that the end times are going to happen in America and Jesus is going to come back down to Missouri. But I say that all to say, if you just hear that, you say, that's ridiculous. But then you start getting into the history, the place names, and symbology behind why they named this river that, or this town this or that, or laid out this city like that, and you're like, whoa, that's a little too complicated for my ABA Missionary Baptist brain, but it's going on and it's in the workings. I mean, heck, even something as inconspicuous as the Grand Canyon is rife with conspiracy. Allegedly, I'm about to show you a clip, portions and places in the Grand Canyon you can't access and go to without getting run off by men in vans or a black helicopter. And you're thinking, well, it's just the Grand Canyon. What's going on? Yeah, it's a giant canyon. Well, what if I told you there are things there that would question mainstream narrative of our history, mainstream narrative of archaeology? I mean, again, I don't know what's there, so I can't tell you. But it's just weird that we have all these national parks that you're supposedly allowed to go all the way, anywhere you want in them. But it's like, what are they hiding in these national parks? What are they hiding in these places that they act like are free access, but actually aren't? But more into that in a moment. I just wanted you guys to hear this, because how do I go from talking about D.C. and Trump federalizing D.C. to this? Well, if you listen, you found out. But this is interesting, so listen to this, guys.
Well, the whole Grand Canyon thing is bananas. Like, there's areas of the Grand Canyon you cannot explore.
You cannot go. You cannot fly over.
Right.
And you can't fly under the rim. Yet when you go to those bad places, suddenly a white plane flies over under the rim, black helicopters show up. I showed on my episode. I show the black helicopters showing up. Like, they do show.
Yeah. Like, they are protecting something. It's not as simple as this is a dangerous area, because you can go to any dangerous area.
You go just to the normal tourist area. It's like, be careful. People fall. 2 people a year fall.
Yeah, someone fell recently.
They did?
Yeah, an influencer. Of course, taking a selfie. But the Grand Canyon, there's been these crazy stories of people finding these these caverns with like Egyptian artwork and hieroglyphics and these stories of artifacts that have been removed from there.
So the story is, it shows up, I believe, in like the Phoenix Gazette. It's 1903 or so. And the explorer is G.E. Kincaid, and he's going down, he's looking for gold deposits or whatever. This is just before Teddy Roosevelt made the Grand Canyon a preserve. He was a naturalist. So he finds these steps that are clearly man-made. He follows the steps up, and there's a cave, and he goes in there, and he describes hieroglyphics that look Egyptian but are not quite. He finds a statue that he describes as like Buddha-like, not Egyptian, not human, but sort of like Buddha, and all these weapons, shields, gold, all sorts of stuff. He keeps going. He finds a deserted city in the caves, and all these tunnels and caverns go everywhere, and he's trying to map everything. He comes out, and he goes back to town, and he gathers together a group that we're gonna go find the stuff again, and people are excited about it. And a couple of weeks go by, and everyone's gathered to go on the expedition. He never shows. The expedition goes nowhere, and that's really the last we've heard of it.
Really? And is there any photographs or anything? No.
There never is of this stuff.
Right. Just descriptions?
Just a great story.
Well, the great part of the story is the fact that you actually can't go there. And the idea that there's an area where the military is protecting people from being foolish, that doesn't make any sense.
Nobody asks why.
Right.
Like, nobody asks why. It really bothers me about that story and all of these, whether it's disclosure or whatever. I don't hear anyone asking why. Well, they won't let us. Well, who's they? Right. Someone's in charge of stuff that's not the president,
right,
or Congress. So who is it? So,
is it possible there's some sort of a government installation down there somewhere?
It's all going to be woo-woo conspiracy stuff, or it's real. Or G.E. Kincaid found something, and someone got to him.
But if G.E. Kincaid found something, why would they want to hide some ancient civilization discovery, particularly in the early 1900s? Like, why? For what reason?
I don't know why Graham Hancock is marginalized now.
Right, but that wouldn't you think that there's like less of a grip on that stuff in the 1900s, the early 1900s?
I would think so.
Yeah.
So my guess would be treasure and money. That would be my guess. Is it shows up in the paper, the government goes down there, like, there's a lot of stuff down here, let's grab it, send it to the Smithsonian, who keeps 99% of the stuff under wraps. They have, a billion items that nobody can see, and then that's the end of it.
But what the fuck? Which I would love to know the official reason. See if you can Google. Is there an official reason why you're not allowed to go to certain areas of the Grand Canyon?
They use a VPN there, brother.
The story, I was looking at an article about the original article, and it says that the two guys mentioned might not have even existed.
Right.
There's no evidence of them.
G.E. Kincaid?
And another guy named S.A. Jordan.
Oh, so it might be just a story that someone printed? Some horseshit?
Yeah, when I was looking into one of these things before, I found something explaining that back in the early 1900s, when newspapers were a really popular thing to read, I don't know if it was like a game or if there was actual prizes people would play or like amongst themselves to try to get fake stories printed. If you could get the craziest story printed, you win like $500 or.
I might be wrong, but I think Jordan was connected to the Smithsonian, at least according to the story.
I pulled this from the Smithsonian Debunk, which, I mean, obviously they would if this is the way we're going to go with it, but them debunking this, and they gave two links, one to the original 1909 article and one to a 2008 update, and that's where I was pulling that from.
I don't trust the Smithsonian. They're exempt from all kinds of stuff.
Yeah?
Well, like there's a law passed not too long ago that if you have Native American artifacts that are important to that culture, especially burial artifacts, they must be returned. Unless you're the Smithsonian, then
they're allowed to hold on to
then
them?
you can make a case that you don't have to give it back.
How do they have so much power?
It's a government agency.
Smithsonian is a government. Oh, I didn't even know. I thought it was a private agency. So there's no official story as to why this area of the Grand Canyon is off limits.
For your safety.
The forbidden zone, they call it.
Yeah, that's all I can find.
That's fucking weird. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and cut it off there. I mean, the video keeps going on, but as you can see, it's like, oh, the Smithsonian are the ones who are discrediting that story and article from 1900 whatever. It's like, yeah, because anytime anybody finds something that would question mainstream archaeology, mainstream understanding of our history or civilization, they cover it up and put it under wraps. And so, guys, I mean, you might not have known this, but you can't go freely in the Grand Canyon. What's this? What's the Smithsonian hiding there? What's the real story there? But again, I think they've covered up evidence of giants in America or other things. And so, just to kind of wrap it up, crazy stuff's going on, man. D.C. rife with devil worship, rife with crime. Trump's taking care of it. We'll see. I'll keep you updated and let you know about that as it goes on. We'll keep you updated about the Obama, Tulsi, Russiagate stuff. And as always, I'll always be here, peeling back the layers a little bit more, tugging on the threads that people don't want to tug on, just doing my thing. So, guys, thank you for tuning in to Midday Madness with Manly Mark. If you want to catch me again, I'll be here tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. on the Feast Me Show with Manly Mark. And, guys, don't forget to tune in tonight to Night with Fee, 9 p.m. And, guys, get on our website. feastme.com, 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 feastme.com. Go to feastme.com and send an email to Fee, please, so he can answer your questions. So, guys, thanks for tuning in, and God bless you, and I'll catch you next time.